This topic is very relevant in the present scenario. We are at crossroads in all sectors, be it economic, social, or health. The women, especially women entrepreneurs, need to play a very critical role to address the facing us during the pandemic and revive and restore the country back to its former pace of growth and development. The key challenges for women entrepreneurs in India include access to funding, availability of market, family constraints, lack of confidence in business skills, gender bias, etc. In order to address the problems in development of women entrepreneurship, different ministries and departments of Government of India have been implementing a number of schemes. Honorable Minister Puri handles ministries which provide huge opportunities for recovery and restoration of the Indian economy, as well as platforms for women entrepreneurs. A strong believer in women's rights and empowerment, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri is a former diplomat. He is a 1974 batch Indian Foreign Service officer who served as the permanent representative of India to the United Nations from 2009 to 2013. He formerly served as president of the United Nations Security Council and as chairman of United Nations Security Council Counterterrorism Committee, vice president of International Peace Institute, and secretary general of Independent Commission on Multilateralism in New York. He joined the Bharatiya Janata Party in January 2014. We look forward to hearing your insights and having a meaningful conversation, sir. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. May I now request FLO's 37th National President, Jahnavi Pukon, to deliver her welcome address. Jahnavi is an entrepreneur and co-founder of two award-winning companies in the tourism sector, Assam Bengal Navigation Company and Jungle Travels India. Her companies are involved in boutique river cruising, hospitality, tea, and handlooms. A strong advocate of sustainable development, Jahnavi is passionate about her work with women that impacts their lives and livelihoods. Her visionary leadership has impacted thousands of women in various segments and sectors through the work of 17 chapters under one FLO. Jahnavi is the first person from Northeast India to be FLO's president. Over to you, Jahnavi. Jahnavi, please unmute yourself.
Okay. I hope my issue doesn't. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Namaste. Honorable Minister Sri Hardeep Singh Puri, my FLO past presidents who are here today, governing body members, and all my dear FLO members. All of us are very honored to have you with us, Sri Puri. It's my privilege to welcome you on behalf of FLO and the 17 chapters that I represent as its national president. So at the onset, I would like to congratulate you for the mission Vande Bharat. 7,836 citizens have been repatriated to our country as of 16 December in this phase 7, and more than 38.4 lakh people have been facilitated, and 23 air bubbles have taken place so far. We are also proud that we have the first woman pilot to operate a rescue flight at the very onset of the pandemic, when Captain Swati Raval airlifted the first batch of 263 Indians stranded in Rome. Territories already told you about FLO's great help that we received from your ministry back in Pune. So in 2020, India was a leading country in terms of female pilots in the world, with roughly 12.4% of Indian pilots being female. This is against a global average of 5.18%. UK has 4.7% of female pilots, France at 7.6%, Japan 5.6%, and US at 5.1%. And today, India is also the world's fastest growing aviation market, with our domestic air traffic growing in double digits, the increasing demand for jobs as pilots and all the other services in your industry. And we have hundreds of Indian women literally waiting at the wings now till the situation changes for the better. But in a larger context, in the Global Gender Gap Index 2019-20, India has dropped 4 places from 28 since 2018, it has now taken the 112th ranking in the world. We need to promote gender mainstreaming, and we need to increase participation and influence of women in every governmental level. Honorable Minister, in your housing and urban affairs, we need a gender-sensitive view to promote the creation of safety policies and end sexual violence against women and girls in urban public places. Gender dimensions should be integrated into public planning and development programs through opportunities for women to have equal partnership in decision-making along with men. Now, the three pillars of which women's empowerment rests today is increasing women in the workforce. We need to create an enabling environment for women entrepreneurs, for women to then contribute effectively towards the economy. And as we all know, that when women are economically empowered, they reinvest in their families and their communities. That produces a multiplier effect that spurs the economic growth and contributes to global peace and stability. Today, talking about entrepreneurship, only 13.7% of the total entrepreneurs in India are women. There are just about 8 million female entrepreneurs compared to over 50 million male entrepreneurs in the startup, according to Startup India. Bain & Company had released a report in February this year on women entrepreneurs in India. And it had said that if India could generate 150 to 170 million jobs by 2030, which would be more than 25% of the new jobs required for the entire working age population if women were to be empowered better. So that is what we at FLOW, the women's wing of FICCI, try to stand for. We work for women's empowerment for 3 decades now. We are one of the oldest business chamber of women in South Asia, and we represent 8,000 businesswomen, entrepreneurs, professionals across our 17 chapters. So investing in women, as we all say, is no longer a matter of right. It also stands for good economic sense. That is why the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development includes this dedicated goal on women's empowerment. All the SDG goals interconnect, that in order to leave no one behind, we find that to achieve each of these goals and target, it is women which is integral and central to it all. With us in FLOW, for every initiative we've taken, it has revolved around enabling women's empowerment through entrepreneurship development, through professional excellence, and to work with women from our grassroots onwards at the 3 levels that we function: the grassroots, the urban, the corporate. So every initiative and every project that we've taken this year has been my mission to work towards sustainable practices and sustainable livelihoods for women. And we're working on this 3-pronged initiative I thought I would speak with you very briefly about, which we call the FLOW 3 Cs, which is competency, confidence, and capacity building for women at the 3 levels. We started the FLOW mentorship cell, the FLOW incubation cell. All of them are mandated to help women within our membership grow and raise their entrepreneurial and their business skills. We have an MOU with the government e-marketplace, where we know the government has given so many opportunities to women with that mandated 3% of purchases which is required from women vendors in services and goods. Our women are being encouraged to go forward and take these advantages offered by the government. We've also signed an MOU with the NSDC, where we're trying to reach out to the vast, educated, unemployed women sitting at home to increase their skills in the business, again, on the online platform, and taking advantage of this, what the new normal is showing us, that maybe the e-commerce would be another way to aspire towards economic independence. And at the grassroots, we are working on village adoption. We want to concentrate all our women in FLOW, concentrate on a microcosm of women near our chapter, near our regions, and help them grow. We are focusing on return migrants. We are focusing on the rural women, and on sustainable livelihoods. For that, we had a MOU with a Netherlands-based organization working in India for many years on sustainable livelihoods, and they are helping us find our ground. And through other NGOs in this field, we are trying at this field. So among the other things that we at FLO are trying for each of us to make a difference, we know that the woman's voice will matter if we also contribute. So we have, on this year, despite COVID, despite being locked with the lockdown, all of us, my members, have all tried their best to contribute, to give back. And we are very hopeful. I wanted to speak to you about another article that we created is when we are looking at, through the new normal, through the e-commerce site, to work with trade collaborative for women in country and women of 7 regions, what we call the 7 geographic regions. When the skies open up, you allow us to travel physically there. But as of now, it is what our initiative is called W7, Women of 7 Regions, where we're working to promote B2B collaborations, sharing best practices through our international affiliations so that we can have a fund of exchange of information, create experience, visibility, connectivity that we can gather among women, business owners and entrepreneurs across the world to set the stage for new opportunities and for joint ventures among women. And with that, we are confident that we will continue to work towards gender responsive economic and social policies with women economic empowerment and sustainable livelihood generation at the heart of whatever we do. And in these pandemic times, that is our way we want to be able to contribute and work with your government and the various ministries that we get an opportunity to work and carry your schemes forward, because our job in FLO, as I see it, we are merely the connector of dots with the opportunities here and the message that we can carry forward. We are here to help and we're here to work together. So thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your time. And as a token of our appreciation, we have a virtual memento for you. So may I request FICCI to please share it on the screen. This is a virtual memento, but the physical one will reach your way very soon. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you, Jahnavi. Now we request Honorable Minister to deliver his address.
Thank you very much, Dharitri ji, Jahnavi ji, President FLO, past president, governing body members, chapter chairpersons. I think there is some cross connection. Maybe can I request some of us need to mute our mics. Okay, let me start again. Jahnavi ji, President FLO, past presidents, governing body members, chapter chairpersons, and all of you who have joined us virtually for this webinar today. A very good afternoon to all of you. I have personally long felt, and I have repeatedly asserted, that the full potential of India's greater 50% women and girls must be realized if India has to achieve its goal of becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. McKinsey estimates that women's empowerment and gender parity is expected to boost India's GDP by nearly $800 billion US dollars by 2025. Bharat cannot be Atmanirbhar and Shresht without the full deployment of the energy, talent, and rigor of the women workforce. On a personal note, I have been firmly attached to the project of women's empowerment for years. As one of the vice presidents of the United Nations General Assembly session in 2009, I was nominated to chair the negotiating process that led to the creation of the United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, UN Women. After resolving deadlocks between nations like Syria, the United States of America, Germany, and the United Kingdom through non-stop negotiations, we succeeded and UN Women was born. Later, when the entity took shape, my better half, Lakshmi, also served as the Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations and Deputy Executive Director of UN Women. She continues to be involved in and has great regard for FICCI Flow. I must congratulate all of you for the stellar work that you have been doing. The COVID-19 pandemic has tested the resilience of public health, social and economic systems across nations, while also shaking up the brick and mortar structures of foundations and functions across industries. The current global predicament demands nations, the private sector, and civil society organizations to come together in the spirit of cooperation to overcome unprecedented challenges and to capitalize on emerging opportunities. The pandemic has also increased the pace of adoption of new technologies across the socio-economic stratum. Today, we live in a world which is hyper-connected, that can identify, locate, mobilize, and resolve any disruptions in a matter of minutes. The transformation underway across our economy and society, including the increased acceptance of home as a workplace, has the potential to support the greater economic participation of women. The concerns of safety during commutes and offices and the perils of leaving infants alone at home, which used to disrupt careers of many women, are obviated by the work from home model. But it also required that we actively support them and the new norms and ethics that shall evaluate, guide, and build upon the reality of a hyper-connected society needs to be structured in a way that empowers women. Today, India is focused on building a resilient post-pandemic economy, laying down his vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India. The Prime Minister announced a financial stimulus package of Rs 21 trillion, which is close to 10% of the Indian GDP. This economic package addressed the needs of the most vulnerable sections of our society, while also making specific structural reforms across a range of sectors from agriculture, defense, labor reforms, FDI reforms, insurance, mining, and the financial sector. Women and youth are critical determinants and beneficiaries of success in these areas. I believe Atmanirbharta is also about fostering Atmanirbhar women and girls, their dignity and rights through women's economic empowerment and autonomy, access, ownership, and control over land, natural resources, and other economic assets. Women's economic empowerment is one of the most promising areas of investment, with an immense talent pool, the demographic dividend of which needs to be tapped. To assist women entrepreneurs, emphasis needs to be given to their financial and digital skilling, which can help them gain access to capital and markets. And I am convinced that the work that Flow is doing and the even greater potential that it is capable of tapping can achieve these laudable objectives. The sharing economy or the on-demand economy of the Airbnb, Ubers, Olas, and co-working spaces operate through e-commerce platforms require lesser workers and capital, as digitally driven platforms create networks that match buyers and sellers across a wide variety of products and services. These developments require that women entrepreneurs are given opportunities to upskill and learn how to market and operate the digital space by connecting the physical to the virtual networks. Doing business on the digital platform over a smartphone convenes people, assets, and data, which creates a new wave of consumption, as also lowers the barriers for individuals to create profits. Therefore, the economic landscape has changed as people are in effect consuming more at a lower price. This means that a larger marketplace than ever before is available for entrepreneurs. This means that the digital revolution offers the opportunity to integrate the unmet needs of 2 billion people into the global economy, widening the prospects for women entrepreneurs. Targeted measures, incentives, and transformative investments by government, private sector are required to spur women's complete participation in the workforce. This will also help bridge the entrepreneurship gender gap in size, scope, scale, risk-taking, and diversity. There is an opportunity for a big jump from mere 14% or 8.5 million women entrepreneurs in India out of 858 million, and for them to move from micro, small to medium, and large job-creating engines. Organizations such as Niti Aayog's Women Entrepreneurship Platform, Catalyst for Women Entrepreneurship, and the Accelerator for Women in Tech initiated by Zone Startup India are already providing dedicated support for women entrepreneurs. They connect them with relevant people in their industry and foster networking among the women entrepreneurs themselves so that they can learn from each other's experience. Moreover, they assist in fundraising by teaching how to pitch and connecting them with potential investors. We also aim to enable technological empowerment of women so that they can benefit and contribute to an equitable new normal of the accelerated fourth industrial revolution driven economy. Women's participation in the digital, AI sectors, the gig economy, and high-tech jobs, flexible zero-hour work, and sharing of domestic work by men are positives that must be encouraged. Ensuring access to healthcare and children's services for women is another key component linked to a social security net to build confidence for aspiring entrepreneurs. Prime Minister Modi's digital health card and Ayushman Bharat Jan Aushadhi centers are steps in that direction. A revamped and expanded health, medical, and pharmaceutical infrastructure with up to 3% of GDP investment will empower women's agency and entrepreneurship opportunity. 21st century gender responsive education and training systems must enable all women and girls to access good quality education. Effective implementation of the new education policy of India will aim to close the persisting literacy, education, and skills related to gender gaps. At the same time, this will foster multi-sectoral knowledge, vocational skills, STEM talent, and employment generation. Taking SDG 5 as the template for overhauling and implementing post-pandemic policies, laws, systems, and norms should include gender-responsive budgeting and financing, gender equal social and cultural norms based on progressive global women's human rights must be kept at the center of all conversations. The full potential of India's greater 50% women and girls must be realized if India has to achieve its global goal of becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. I would like to share some of the work being done under my ministries to empower women and support their entrepreneurial aspirations. Under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, or what is called DAY NULM, has 4.69 lakh self-help groups. The mission has brought 52.74 lakh women into self-help groups. Of the total 3.76 lakh individual beneficiaries who have availed loan assistance from banks, 38% or 1.42 lakh micro entrepreneurs are women. Similarly, of the 1.94 lakh beneficiaries of the group which have availed loans, 95% or 1.85 lakh are women. Of the total 10 lakh urban poor skill trained, 70% or 6.97 lakhs are women. Similarly, of the total 5.36 lakh beneficiaries who have been placed, 70% or 3.72 lakhs are women. I could go on giving you the micro statistics, but I will refrain from doing that. I will put those out in the public domain. They're already available on the website of my ministry. But I want to move now to the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, under which we have a target of constructing or sanctioning 1 crore 12 lakhs homes under 4 separate verticals. And this is a project to be completed by 2022. I'm very happy to inform you that we have already sanctioned 1 crore 7 lakhs. And the good news is that the title of the home has to be in the name of the lady of the house. And this is both a scheme designed to ensure that the Prime Minister's dream of every Indian citizen having a roof on their heads, be no matter where he or she may live, but also it's designed for female empowerment. Because at the end of the day, this title and the confidence that the empowerment brings is also capable of generating other positives, when I know an organization like Flow would be only too familiar with this. Under the Swachh Bharat scheme, we have built 66 lakh individual household toilets in the urban space, about 6 lakhs public or community toilets, and I believe that all these toilets are a great help for the girl child, for the dignity of the girl child, and also go a long way in meeting other objectives to which we are jointly committed. 1 lakh informal waste workers have been integrated into the formal workforce, and over 5.5 lakh sanitation and waste workers have been linked to government programs. Under the Amrut scheme, where we have selected 500 cities with a population of over 100,000 each, we have provided 81 lakh household water tap connection and 46 lakh sewer connection. Similarly, the Smart Cities mission involves the use of technology like CCTV cameras to increase, and this has been demonstrated that issues of women's security, child safety and all have greatly benefited from these schemes. Let me conclude. I suspect I'm way over the time that you had allotted to me, but let me conclude by saying that the path towards unlocking the potential of the Indian economy in a resilient and sustainable manner is very much dependent on our ability to create the environment and policies that nurture the dreams and aspirations of the women of our nation. Let me say that as a person who regards himself as a feminist in every respect, I have a strong feminist at home. I have 2 daughters who are equally staunch feminists. I have tried to the best of my ability to integrate female empowerment and these issues into the programs of my ministries. But if there is any gap, I am very happy to partner and have my ministries partner with Flow, and any ideas that you might have. Whenever you are in Delhi, please feel free. We'll arrange presentations for you, and we'd be happy to go that extra distance in order to achieve these objectives. Thank you very much, and I'd be very happy to take 1 or 2 questions that your participants might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Janavi, you wanted to say something?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. You rightly said that we need to have an enabling environment and ecosystem to flourish, and achieve our dreams and goals and our aspirations. Very interesting, sir. And we have questions now. We've got the first question from Taruna Patel, who is the chapter chair of Law Ahmedabad. Taruna, I would request others to mute themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Daritri, and a very good afternoon to you, Honorable Minister. Really pleasure to listen to your address, and I think it is already a very empowering one for some of the empowered women already sitting on this panel. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed all the figures that you gave also. And the question I would like to address today is that India has the largest number of women pilots in the world, I believe. While this is something we are very proud of, we do find there are very few women in the management and on the board. So what would be your plan to have more women in the decision-making positions in the aviation sector, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Sarojana ji. I am not entirely sure whether all the facts relating to this are known. Whenever I deal with civil aviation, I can tell you I am impressed with the women in higher management positions. Let me give you an example. I know of many people and know them personally very well. I have our friend, the Captain Annie Divya, who completed her pilot training at the age of 19, became a pilot for Air India in 2006, and became the world's youngest, I stress, the world's youngest woman to command and to fly the largest twin jet, a Boeing 777 in 2017. She now flies the Boeing 777, a long-range wide-body twin jet aircraft, a model with the capability of up to 350 to 400 passengers. Now, I know Annie is a role model for women, and she's already commanding a 777. Now, that's on the flying side. I can tell you about in the US, about 5.27% of US airline pilots are women. In the UK, it's 4.6%. And in India, Indigo leads the pack with 350 women pilots constituting 13.9%. Now, US is 5%, Indigo alone is 13.9%. Now, I don't have Air India employs 200 women pilots, which is 12.7% of total pilot. So if the average in the US is 5%, in India it's 3 times that amount. I mean, as I said, if I had anticipated this question a little advanced, I would have put out a circular to all the airlines discreetly. But you can use these statistics, I will send them to you. India overall has a higher proportion of women pilots than any other nation. Our carriers employ 12.4% women pilots, which is higher than the global average of 5.26%. If you allow, I will tweet this also out. So if the global average is 5.26%, our average is 12.4%. Now I come to non-flying. Well, all these women pilots incidentally end up in the board. Like in Air India, I have 2 functioning women directors. Meenakshi Malik, who's Director Commercial, and Amrita Sharan, who's Director Personnel. Now, you will agree with me that the commercial and the personnel, these are the 2 heavyweight responsibilities. And I know both of them thorough professionals. Now, we're not stopping there. Recently, one of the executive directors of Air India, Harpreet Singh, has been appointed CEO of Alliance Air, which is a subsidiary of Air India. So no matter which way you look at it, there are women all around. I know in Indigo, for instance, one of the executive vice presidents of Rahul Bhatia is a woman professional. So I would say that actually women professionals doing well in civil aviation is a given. But as I said, the name of the game is that the best is yet to come. We are very happy to encourage them to employ or to allow more to rise. But this is an interactive process. Women must be willing and come forward. And the ecosystem of the senior management must be such that no one should be held back because he or she belong to a particular gender. So if it is merit-based, I have no doubt that our women will do as well, if not better than the men. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really a very detailed answer, and the fact that we remain on the top, even in the 12.5% that you mentioned regarding the jobs in the aviation ministry or otherwise, really makes us feel very proud that there are so many women already ahead in that line. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Usha Rani Mani. She is our chapter chair from Hyderabad.
Honorable Minister Ji, Namaste. The Smart City Mission guidelines talk about infrastructure in smart cities to be constructed for safety and security, particularly for women, children and elderly. But we are yet to see this being done in smart cities. Your comment please on this, sir.
Well, Usha ji, let me first again respectfully state that what you say is correct, that the smart cities must be constructed for the safety and security, particularly of women, children, and the elderly. All I'm saying is that the smart cities project is work in progress. It's work in process. And all the smart cities, and I monitor them personally, all of them have these features. And once you visit the Integrated Command and Control Center, now we have 100 smart cities, 47 of these Integrated Command and Control Centers are ready. You should sit down with them. I can maybe organize for a delegation of flow to visit some of these smart cities wherever you all are based. I will be in touch with Dharitri ji on this, and maybe we can go there and see yourself. What are these features? City surveillance, central monitoring and emergency alert generation with good use cases based on analytics, emergency call box and panic button, intelligent street lighting, GIS enabled situation awareness in these public transport, intelligent traffic management, a citizen complaint redressal system. If you take all of these together, these are all either specifically intended to enhance the safety of women, children, and the elderly, or they have a general applicability in which these three categories are very direct and immediate beneficiaries.
Thank you, Minister Ji.
And I will send you, Usha ji, I will, through my colleagues, I will send Dharitri ji the detailed answer also so that you can circulate it. Now, in the interest of time, I'm just giving you the, the sub-headlines as it were.
Thank you, Minister Ji. Actually, women's experience of city is shaped by the gender construct, and especially in the matter of safety. Their participation in the workforce is also limited by the quality and extent of safety. It's really good to know that government is taking long strides in this direction. Thank you so much.
The next question is from our past president, Namita Gautamji.
Namaskar, sir. What you presented, your address was very, I must say, it was very informative. It has helped us to know what the ministries are doing, and we have a lot of misconceptions about it. Like, I live in Delhi, and whenever I see Connaught Place, my office is in that area, and I always feel, where is the smart city? Because there is so much of problem of connectivity. I will be very short and direct. So the schemes, whether it is Amrit scheme or Smart City project or the Hriday scheme, they are excellent schemes and in the right direction. But at the ground level, we don't see so much, or we don't experience so much of execution and implementation. So my question is that I know Delhi is a very complex structure, but what can we do there? Because even for day-to-day working, it is so difficult because there is no connectivity.
Well, thank you very much. Let me first clear a fundamental misunderstanding or misperception. The Smart Cities project is a project which was designed through citizenship consultation, and the ideas came from the people. India is a large country. We have a population of 1.34 billion people. The total number of smart cities which are based on area-based development, ABD, are very few. So if you live in Delhi, Delhi overall is not a smart city.
NDMC.
I mean, it's only the NDMC which is a smart city. Now, if you go to the NDMC areas, the projects, not all the projects have been completed because they are in different stages of completion. If you look at the projects which have been completed, you will find that they resemble the smart city guidelines and template comparing with the best in the world. But other parts of the city are not part of the development. So what we are hoping is that the 100 smart cities based on area-based development, once these projects are completed, they will have a demonstrative effect. Like some cities wanted to be part of the smart cities program, they were not included because the resources are not unlimited. So those city administrations or the state governments like in Haryana, they decided that they will on their own develop smart cities. So I think the trick here or the secret is once we complete these 100 smart cities, we have to do prachar, we have to take the message of what smart city cleanliness looks like, what waste disposal looks like. I'll give you an example. When Modi ji became Prime Minister in 2014, his most important scheme, as far as I can make out, which is the fulcrum of all the urban schemes put together, is the Swachh Bharat Mission. Swachh Bharat Mission had two fundamental objectives. One, by the time we were to celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of the Mahatma, 2nd October 2019, India should have been open defecation free. And yes, India did become open defecation free, except, forgive me for saying so, the state of West Bengal, which has lagged behind. And I don't want to go into a political discussion, but I'm hoping they will also see the light of day soon and catch up. Small parts are left. But this open defecation free is not a certificate that I give myself. You come to my office and I don't say this is the best office around. No, it has to be based on third-party verification. But another very important part, and we haven't stopped there. We have now built all the physical toilets required. Earlier, there was criticism that the toilets are not maintained. We have done that. We have made people accountable. But we are now going from ODF, open defecation free, to ODF plus, to ODF plus plus, to go on maintenance of toilets, fecal sludge management, and so on. We are now in the process of conceiving the second round of all these schemes. But the most important point is the Swachh Bharat Mission completion also required that we have proper solid waste management. It might shock you to know that in 2014, the total amount of solid waste management done in a scientific manner in India was only about 15 or 16%. We've raised that today to about 70, 75%. But it requires technology, it requires capital. Very soon, I'm hoping within my own tenure in this ministry, we will have 100% solid waste management. But please don't forget, all these schemes are dependent on behavioral change. I mean, it's good for a project to be designed by the government, but it has become through a Jan Andolan a project of the people. Now, what happens in commercial areas, restaurants and eateries? They hold days cooking, cutting vegetables, the waste, they just put it outside. They will not segregate it into solid and wet waste. They will just put it into the local nala. So the nala gets blocked. Your water, when it rains, nalas get clogged. Then the flooding takes place, urban flooding. So the smart projects we can introduce. We can put the money in from the central government, from the state government, through public-private partnership. But the awareness should also be generated. And that's where I think women's groups like yourselves who talk of women's empowerment must also take that strong operative thrust of the message to people. Because I believe I mean, I've always said the greater 50%. I mean, the difference will be made through all of you. So I think you need to throw your weight behind the behavioral change aspect. I mean, they used to say boys will be boys. No, boys should be held accountable. But equally, boys, not the mother will ignore the boy when he comes home, young son when he comes home, and then you fret the fact that girls are disadvantaged. Not at all. Let's start with the basic. Let's start with segregation at source. Let's start with zero tolerance for waste. Let's have zero tolerance for littering. Then I believe the rest of Delhi will look like NDMC also.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I get longer, but I must rush now because I'm a little overding. So Dharitri ji, please.
So, sir, okay. So we just have one more question and the concluding remarks. One short question from Renuka Tandon, who's our GB member.
Good evening, Honorable Minister, respected President and past Presidents. It was a very insightful session and we came to know about a lot of schemes. But what I would like to know is the land the Indian women still don't owe property in general. A large number of women still don't owe property. So that becomes a problem for a collateral loans if you want to have funding for your new projects or anything. The bank loans, for the collateral loans, we need to have a property which you can use it. So can you just give us like how we can go about that thing? Even in the Awas Yojana also, the women holders stakeholding is very low in the ground level. So how can we have like a solid scheme or something which insist on having an equal partnership for the women?
Well, let me first of all, if I may be allowed, just to correct one basic point of information.
Yeah.
Under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, if we were to turn around and say that the women's title holding is very small, I would be surprised. Let me tell you why. First of all, anything built under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is drawn a central grant, the title has to be in the name of the lady of the house. It has to be. There's no choice. It can be co-jointly. If you were or somebody, some other colleague of ours would want to say, no, I want to register the house along with my husband or along with my partner or my son, that's your choice. But the registry cannot take place unless a woman is also made up, because that is the whole design of the scheme, to provide assurance and confidence that, because of, maybe I should choose my words very carefully, availing culture of patriarchy or something, the woman will be done out of the design. And the Prime Minister was very clear, and this is working. So if somebody tells me that it is low, please give me the examples. It cannot be done. You cannot register. Now, there are 4 verticals. Let me explain. One is affordable housing and partnership, where the central government gives a little money, the state government gives a little money, typically 1.5 lakhs each. The state government provides a house. No choice. Title has to be in the name of the lady of the house. You end up spending 8-9 lakhs on a unit, but the market value is 30 lakhs or more. Then in situ slum rehabilitation, again the same. There is a informal settlement or a slum. They'll use a public-private partnership model to leverage the land and some commercial space. Again, title has to be there. Beneficiary-led construction, which is how do you put it? Your family owns property which may be old and dilapidated. Again, and finally, what we call the CLSS, or the credit-linked subsidy scheme, which is a state subsidy. If you were to go to a bank, typically ask for a loan, the bank would charge you 12%. We'll give you 3% upfront for economically weaker sections or middle income groups. So I don't think there's a choice there. And I've never heard this complaint. I think your question may be on something otherwise. So I think in terms of owning property, which can be used as collateral for loan, we have provisions under the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana or the NULM, where I can give you the statistics, and I send those statistics to you, what we can do under Mudra Yojana. Again, because of Dharitri ji, I seek your forgiveness. Because of shortage of time, I will send you the written answers. You can replace them, because my next meeting, it's already 4:25, and I know that somebody you have to sum up also. And so I don't want to deprive them if I go on, but I'll send you these details on what we are doing and what we can do. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll circulate the responses.
Thank you.
So now I may request our President, Janavi Kumar, to give her concluding remarks.
Minister, I'll keep it very simple. We've learned a lot from you today, and it's so important when you get an opportunity to talk to you face to face, because there are brilliant schemes going across the country, but somehow the messages don't percolate through, and we realize that is why we say that our job is to connect the dots. Look forward to this occasion to come and see you, meet with you, interact, and get these schemes that we can spread awareness about. We realize that our job in Flow is to increase the awareness and to connect. And the fact that everything, the work which is going on, the tremendous work is all in silos. And these connecting the dots on the knowledge gaps is our job. And as civic society, as the Chamber of Commerce, working with women, we do think this time is not be a better time for us to also congratulate the government on the work you've done in COVID times, on the various empowerment that you've given to women, from the gas cylinder, from the housing, the roof over her head, from the bank account in her name, from the public toilet, from the toilet that she has in her home. This is tremendous development of what our country now seeing in 70 years. And we always like to salute the Prime Minister and all the officers who worked on this. So with that, we will thank you and let you go. But we will I'm in Assam now, and we hope when opportunity give us a chance to come and see you, we really want to be there and to take this forward on behalf of the organization. I thank you. Namaste.